This is in response to Billy's Talking Points memo from Tuesday, February 3rd, 2015. The 2016 presidential race is off and running. February 3rd happened to be the wedding anniversary of my parents, so it's over 60 years. They are both deceased, but I'd like to acknowledge that. Billy talks about... my father would shudder at the way Billy talks. But he says there's 21 months left before the election. The people are already getting overwhelmed. The polarizing figure of Hillary Clinton, notice he's got to get that dig in very, very quickly, is already there. Then, he does what he often does, is he brings on somebody, or he brings up somebody who's an obscure figure and has them trash something or say something that he disagrees with or agrees with, to justify his point of view. So he brings on someone from CNN whom I've never seen or heard before, who was on Newsmax, which is a very, very, very right-wing online publication, and has a little TV show, and where he bitched about CNN, MSNBC, all the mainstream media, including Univision, who he says is in the tank for Obama and for Democrats. And of course, he also said that, and Billy even had said that he did say that that Fox News also does not tell the truth when it's out there. Now, they didn't mention NPR, and I do watch NPR. So Billy indicated that his viewers will not be swayed by what's going on because they're smart, but they listen to him. And of course, we know that there have been study after study done in reference to Fox News. And if you do only watch Fox News, especially Billy, is that you will not have a good idea about what is really going on in the world. Your a concept of what's going on has been swayed so much by Fox News that you won't even know what the truth is. But Billy is using that to keep his voters there. Of course, Billy is concerned about all the other millions of voters who hear stuff on the net. They pick up stuff here and there. They pick up stuff from friends. They really don't have a good concept of what's going on, And, everyone in the media is in the tank for Hillary, and there's so much misinformation that's going on around there. Now, I'd like to say one thing here as something else, is why can't there be more civics classes in public schools? Or in the school systems, all school systems in general. That's exactly how government works, why it works, what it really does. Instead of memorizing the preamble, we the people, in order to perform, I remembered it. From 6th grade, I do remember, we had to memorize it. But it's not a matter of memorizing, it's how it works in your life, what it's doing, why it's doing these things. Why is the EPA wanting to protect the environment, and why are the Republicans not wanting to protect the environment? Why are we trying to increase the gas mileage on our cars? Why are we making cars more safer? Why are we having restrictions on where people can smoke in buildings? That was pretty settled now, but that's all part of civics. And we don't have very much of that. So at least if we could ground students into that, maybe they wouldn't be getting as much disinformation or watching your show, as a matter of fact. So Billy indicates that now what he is going to do is he's going to have surgical storylines, which means he's going to hammer anyone he doesn't like, and he's going to praise profusely someone he does like, even though he's going to indicate that he's being fair and balanced about it the entire time. And, I'm not quite sure why he had to transition into this, but for some reason, he's got this thing, which most people who are what I call right-wing authoritarians have, is they have this unusual fear. That fear encompasses them. And he's got this fear against the jihad. Maybe he fears he's going to be targeted. Maybe he fears he's not safe in the United States. I don't know, but he has to go back to the jihad. Well, he brought that up because he brought up the two things that are going to be the most important thing in the upcoming election, is take-home pay and the jihad. Now, he didn't say anything about take-home pay. He didn't say anything about increasing the minimum wage. He didn't say about anything about worker protections. He didn't say anything about Social Security. He didn't say anything about Medicare. He did, that's not necessarily directly part of take-home pay. He didn't talk about any type of stimulus. He didn't even talk about cutting taxes. He just had to go right into the jihad. Now, the reason why I said he has this inordinate fear is that he always has to bring up the jihad. And he's always has to blame Obama for not doing anything. And I've gone on ad infinitum about how he never mentions how many thousands of bombings there have been in Syria and Iraq against ISIL. He never mentions the fact that Khomeini, I think it was Khomeini, K-O-M-A-N-E, a town in northern Syria near the Turkish border, has been reclaimed by the Peshmerga. The Peshmerga meaning the Kurdish army. Of course, they're having trouble with that right now, is because you see they're spread thin, and you know how long they can keep hold of it. I don't really know, because people really can't go back. You know, there was an interesting thing on Al Jazeera. See, now I watch a lot of different stuff because I do feel it's important to be informed. The guy didn't mention Al Jazeera, but Al Jazeera had a thing, and of course I'm sure it's been out there. I haven't necessarily seen it in a while, though, is the hundreds of thousands or millions of people who have fled Syria and are living in Jordan and living in Iraq, living in Turkey, possibly also living in Lebanon. Many of them are in refugee camps. And remember, Syria was a fairly well-to-do country before the Civil War broke out. And a lot of the people there, they had kids who went to soccer practice. They immunized their kids. They had doctor's appointments. They were getting their nails done. I don't know, but now they're living in tents. And they showed when Khomeini was taken back, they showed the hospital. And of course, as a dumb, stupid American, you think they're just shacks out there in the Middle East, especially in the desert areas. No, this was like a 4, 5, 6 story hospital that they showed that had been completely shelled. But the point is, there's a lot. There's a lot that's being done to defeat ISIL, and Billy is reporting absolutely none of it. He's only bringing up the fear aspect of it, that they're going to come over here and come to you. And of course, there was the Jordanian pilot who was executed yesterday. It appears as if he may have been executed more than a month ago. That's why there was never a deal on the hostage swap, so to speak. Not hostage swap. He was a hostage, the Jordanian flyer, with prisoners in Jordan. And now Jordan, I believe, has executed a few of them. This is all terrible. But to say that, and then as Billy ends up to say that the United States, that Obama is doing nothing about this. Again, how much money is the Obama administration helping out in Lebanon and Syria, in Turkey, let's say Iraq, in helping some of these refugees, getting money through the United Nations, etc. That's never mentioned by Billy, and I'm really cringing inside, because that's what it is. But these people need help, and we don't have anybody that can take the fight to Syrian Assad right now. So our options are very limited. Then you have ISIL that's running around in Syria, northern Syria, and Iraq, and we're doing our best to do that without putting boots on the ground. And again, this fear factor is not going to play out anymore. And Hillary has been scourged, let's just say, for so many years. I don't know what new things you can come up to scourge her about. But again, this fear factor of saying Obama is doing nothing is not even remotely close to being true. And that's why Fox News watchers are so ill-informed, is because of people like you, Billy.